Jared Polin, bhpho.to, and today I want to talk about the brand new Sigma 100-400 f5-6.3 DG OS lens that Sigma just announced pricing and availability for. It's priced at $799 and it will be available at the end of May 2017. So I want to talk about this lens against some of the other lenses that are out that are super zooms from Nikon, from Canon, as well as from Sigma. So let's look at some of the other specs. Now this is part of the contemporary line of lenses. You've got the contemporary, you have the sport, and you have the art. So contemporary is considered to be the lower end side of it, but Sigma has done a great job with those lenses, and I've tested out a bunch of them so far. So let's look at what the equivalent would be on a crop sensor camera. It would be a 150 to 600 millimeter on a crop sensor multiplied by 1.5 to get the 1.6. Just multiply 1.6 times 100 as well as 400 to get the equivalent there for other sized crop sensors. Now, you have to look at the weight here. This is 2.55 pounds. That is pretty light for a ultra zoom lens like this. Now in the past, ultra zoom lenses haven't been extremely sharp. They haven't been very good, but they've started to get better in the last 3, 4, 5 years. They've started to do a great job in getting them to be much sharper. Now let's look at it. As an f5 to an f6.3, this is not a lens that you use indoors. This is a lens that is meant for outdoor sports, for birding, for nature, for things along those lines. And remember, you're not going to blow out the background as much, but this is a mega zoom lens, and it's also pretty light. Now let's look at the equivalent on the Canon side. Canon has a 100 millimeter to 400 millimeter f4.5 to 5.6 L. So 4.5 and 5 are pretty darn close. Now 5.6 is better than 6.3, but it's not that far off. But where we are far off is that the Canon version is an L lens, L, which means it's considered to be one of their better lenses, and it's $1,999. So that's more than double the price of what the Sigma offering has. Oh yeah, and you can get the Sigma on Nikon, you can get it on Canon, you can get it on Sigma, and I believe it works with adapters for the Sony mount. And also the Canon version weighs 3.5 pounds. Now it is a beautiful lens, it's a nice behemoth lens, but the same things apply. It's not really meant for indoors, it's for nature, for outdoor sports, but remember, you're still not blurring out the background as much. Now the closest comparison for Nikon is the 80 to 400 millimeter that they offer. They also have a 200 to 500. I could have talked about that as well, but I thought that the 80 to 400 was closer. It's a 4.5 to 5.6 as well, and it's priced at, holy Jesus, it's more expensive than the Canon. It's $22.96 and it weighs 3.45 pounds. So I just wanted to put this stuff into comparison for you so you can comparison shop here. And lastly, I decided to pick out the Sigma 150 to 600, which is an f5 to 6.3 contemporary version, which also has OS. Now that weighs 4.3 pounds, and I didn't write down the price, but I believe it's $989, which I think I'm actually right on that. So which one do you look for? Now Sigma has done an interesting job here with creating a 100 to 400. It seems to be a lens that a lot of people want to have because it gives them that mega reach on full frame, because 100 to 400 is a huge range. And on a crop sensor camera, 150 to 900 is an absolutely huge range. So when you're deciding, do you want this one? Do you want the Nikon? Do you want the Canon? You take into consideration weight, you take into consideration build quality, and you take into consideration price. And if we're just price shopping, how do you not tell somebody on a crop sensor camera that they're going to do well by purchasing the $799 lens instead of the $2,000 or the $2,300 lens? I mean, it's hard at this point to justify for most people to purchase the L lens or the 80 to 400 from Nikon at the price that they're pricing it at. And being that it's 2.55 pounds, double checking, 2.55 pounds, it's pretty darn light. Whereas the contemporary 150 to 600 weighs 4.3 pounds. You just have to decide, do you want to spend 800 or do you want to spend 989, a couple bucks more, and get the 150 to 600, which is heavier, or do you want the 100 to 400, which is lighter. So what do you guys think? Leave comments down below with which one of these 4 lenses you would purchase. Don't forget to give this a like, a share, a comment if you're on Facebook, and don't forget to like it, comment it, and subscribe on YouTube. And let me know what you think about these comparison videos. Do they help you out? And that's where I'll leave it. Jared Polin, Fro knows photo.com. See ya. My Gear Vault. Input, organize, protect. Download now for free at mygearvault.com or the Apple App Store. Coming soon to Android.
Subscribe now! Watch this video.